Hello everyone, we're back to doing slope. Okay, remember that when we learned slope, boys and girls, we learned if it's going as the x's increase, the y's are also increasing, or left to right going uphill, that it's positive. If the x's are increasing but the y's are decreasing, then you have a negative slope. If it is a horizontal line, it is 0. And if it is going vertical, then it is undefined. So just remember that. So the very first thing that I would say to do on each one of these on this first page, the very first thing I would say is decide if it's a positive or negative slope. Don't even find it yet. Just decide if it's a positive or negative slope. So I'm going to look at this. I know this is going to be negative. This is positive. This is negative. This is positive. This is positive. This is positive, negative, and positive. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is I want to draw a triangle. So I'm going to draw a triangle like so. When I do that, I'm going to have a fraction. I want how much it is going up or down on top, because that is our rise, and then our run. So how far over did we go? We went over 3. So that is going to be negative 1/3 is our slope. Okay, then over here it's a positive slope. Now, do I really need to write that positive sign? No, but it makes it easier for some people. So how far up did I go? 1, 2, 3 over 1. So I rise 1, or rise 3, and I run 1. So my slope is 3. On this one, it's a negative slope. So I'm going to draw my triangle. It's going up 1, 2, 3 times. It's going over 1, 2 times. So my slope is the rise, or the vertical, over the run, which is the horizontal, negative 3 over 2. Then here, again, I'm going to draw my triangle. Some people may say, well, can I draw the triangle up here? Yes, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. Okay, so this is going to go up 1, 2, 3. This is going to go over 1, 2, which is 3 over 2. Okay, next one. Okay. So I go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I go over 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, yep. So 5/3. Next one. That was horrible. Okay, I go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I go over 1, 2, 3. So 7 over 3. 7/3 is my slope. And I guess I should be putting m equals in front of each one of these. That was not very smart of me not to put it, because remember, slope is m. So we'll come down to this one, and I'll write a little m right here. Okay. There we go. So I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm going to go over 1, 2. Remember that that is negative, so negative 6 over 2, which is negative 3. This next one, positive slope. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 over 1, 2, 3. So 7 over 3. So my slope equals 7/3. Okay, so the next page that we're going to do is graphing lines notes. There are 3 types of lines. There are diagonal, horizontal, and vertical. Diagonal lines go uphill or downhill as you look from left to right. So we're going up, we're going down. Okay? Slope-intercept form. Remember that the M is the slope, the B is the y-intercept. And if you're looking at a graph, remember that it's in that form. So, I'm sorry, I forgot up here, this would be positive. This would be negative. There we go. Okay, you always need to find 2 things in order to graph a diagonal line. You need to find the slope and the y-intercept. Every single time. Now, you're going to plot the y-intercept first, and that's going to be on the y-axis. The y-intercept is the number that is not next to the x. Okay, starting at the y-intercept. So you start at the y-intercept, you do the slope. So you go up and over. Okay, sometimes you'll have a positive direction, sometimes you'll have a negative direction. Use the slope from the second point to find another point. Always write your slope as a fraction. Fraction. Okay? When you can't go any further on the graph, go back to the y-intercept. Use the slope and go the opposite direction to graph more points. Then draw a line through the points. Okay? Be sure you use arrows. These are lines. So here I go. I'm going to look at this first one right here. Okay, y equals mx plus b. So my y-intercept is 0, -1. My slope, now I just said write it as a fraction, so 3/1. So I go to 0, -1, and I plot that point. Then I'm going to, this is how much I go up. It's positive, so that means I'm going to the right. So 1, 2, 3, and I go over 1. I go up 1, 2, 3, I go over 1. Now I can't go any further. So I can also go down 3, 1, 2, 3, and go over here 1. Okay, now I'm going to get rid of these little curly Q things. Oops, that got rid of my points also. 1, 2, 3 over 1, 1, 2, 3 over 1. Now I connect my dots. My points is what I should call them. Oh, that was a horrible line. Since when do lines look like that? There we go. That's better. And I put arrows on it. Then the next one. Okay, so my slope is -3/1. So this time it's going to go downhill instead of uphill. And my point is 0, -1. So I'm still starting at 0, -1. But I'm going downhill this time. So I'm going to go down 3, 1, 2, 3. I go over 1. See how it's going to make a downhill? From the y-intercept, I go up 1, 2, 3, and I go over 1. 1, 2, 3 over 1. See how it's going to make a negative slope. That is if I can draw my line. There we go. And I put arrows on my line. Okay, next one. Now the slope on this one is a -2/3. Okay, so again, it's going to go downhill, and my y-intercept is 0, 4. So I go to 4, and I'm going to go down 2, and I'm going to go to the right, 1, 2, 3. So I went down 2, I went to the right 3. down 2 to the right 3. So then I draw the line. Oh, I should have gone up more. Sorry about that. Up 2 and 1, 2, 3. Oh, that's pretty good. Okay, so here I have a slope of negative 2/3. I have a point of 0, negative 4. So I go down to negative 4. Again, it's going to be negative. So I go down 1, 2. I go over 1, 2, 3. I go up 1, 2. I go over 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. And then I draw a line that contains all of these dots. Okay. Now here the slope is 3. Remember, 3 over 1 is going uphill, but there's nothing added to it. So that means that my y-intercept is the point 0, 0. It is proportional. So I'm going to go up 3 and over 1. I went up 3. Look at that. Up 3. I went over 1. I'm going to go up 3 and over 1. I'm going to go down 3 and over 1. Down 3 and over 1. Okay? And I'm going to, I know it's a horrible line, but at least it straightens out here. Over here, my slope is negative 4, which should be over 1, 0, 3. So I go up to 3. My slope is negative 4. If I go up 1, 2, 3, it can't go any higher. So that's not going to be it. So I need to go down. Oops. I just put it on the wrong one. Sorry about that. Okay, so 3. I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's negative direction, so this direction over 1. I'm going to plot a point. So I go down 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, over 1, and I connect the points. There we go. Okay, so now this is written out of order. Who cares? The number in front of x is still the slope. The number that stands alone is still the y-intercept. So I still plot a point at 0, 4. I'm going to go downhill. So if I go down 1, 2, and over 1, 1, 2, over 1, 1, 2, over 1, down 2, over 1, down 2, over 1, or from the y-intercept I could have gone up 2, over 1. It would still make a negative slope when I did that. Okay. Same thing here. My slope is a negative 1/2, so it's going downhill. The y-intercept is negative 3. So I go to negative 3. I go down 1 and I go over 2. Down 1, over 2. Down 1, over 2. Or I go up 1 and over 2. Up 1 and over 2. Up 1 and over 2. Over here, my slope is the number in front. That would be 1, which is 1 over 1. And my point is 0, 2. So I go to 0, 2, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. And there you have it. Oops, that was a little off. Let's see. Okay. So I just have a couple more. So 2/3, my point is 0, negative 1. So I go to 0, negative 1. This is positive, so it's going to go in this direction. I go up 2, I go 1, 2, 3. Up 2, over 1, 2, 3. I go down 2, 1, 2, and I go over 1, 2, 3. Down 2, over 1, 2, 3. And I connect the dots. Next one, slope -2, which is over 1, going downhill. There's nothing added, so it's going through 0, 0. It's proportional. So it's going downhill, down, and I go over to the right. Down, and I go over to the right. Down, and I go over to the right. Now if I start at the y-intercept again, and then I go up 2, oh, that was weird, up 2, but I'm going to go this way 1. Up 2, and this way 1. Up 2, and this way 1. And then, that was, and last but certainly not least, my slope here is -1/3. My point is 0, -1. It's going to go downhill, so down 1 over 3. Down 1 over 3. Or we could have gone up 1, but we have to go to the left 3 because that's the negative direction. Oops, that was not good. Go up 1 and over 1, 2, 3. And then I draw my line and put my arrows on.